Hello, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith. Today I'm going to make spaghetti and meatballs. Who doesn't like spaghetti and meatballs? So to start off with, we got to do the meatballs. I've got just under a pound of ground beef, lean ground beef, a couple of garlic cloves, some flat leaf parsley, half of a yellow onion, salt, pepper, oregano, and thyme. We're going to make these into little meatballs, and then we're going to cook them. We're going to fry them up, and then we'll make the spaghetti sauce. For our meatballs, we have lean ground beef. It's just under a pound. About 385 or so grams. I have tablespoon of finely minced flat leaf parsley, 2 cloves of garlic finely minced, and I did a quarter of an onion, yellow onion. Decided that half of an onion was too big and the other quarter could go into the spaghetti sauce. So now that we have it all in the bowl, we want about half a teaspoon of salt. You don't want to over salt it. Teaspoon of oregano, dried oregano. Teaspoon of dried thyme. You could add rosemary if you like. And we're going to put a little bit of white pepper. It's just about a quarter of a teaspoon. We're going to mix it all together. Now, if you want something to bind it a little stronger, you could use an egg white. For this, I would not put a whole egg in, just because that would be too much. If you're making a bigger quantity, then one whole egg would do. But I don't want to add any breadcrumbs to this. I want it to be strictly meatballs. I don't want any filler in it. So just make sure you squish them up real good. Just use your hands to combine everything. Make sure your hands are clean. You don't want to be doing this if you have not washed your hands. Now that we have it all mixed up, we're going to make meatballs. And we don't want them really big. In fact, we want them fairly small. So we have enough to go around. And they're just a little bite in your sauce. So if you have a small ice cream scoop, that works. Or use a teaspoon if you're not good at judging. Just try to get them the same size. You can pinch off a little if they're too big. Just roll them between your hands. And if your hands are a little bit wet, they will roll easier and not stick to your hands and make your hands all goopy. Well, your hands are going to get goopy anyway. If you got a lot of onion on the surface, just try to squish it into the interior, because that'll be part of what breaks your meatball. If there's going to be an issue, so we want them about, I was going to say ping pong ball size, but it's been a while since I played ping pong, so I'm not sure. That might be smaller than a ping pong ball. But definitely don't really want them any bigger. And just keep doing that until you run out of the meat mixture. Just basically cup your hand one over the other and roll the meat. And if it's too big, take some off. like so. And I'll continue doing this until we have all the meat into little meatballs. Since our tomato sauce for our spaghetti is going to be very quick to make, we want to cook our meatballs first. Now you can cook them in the oven, but if you've got a nice pan full of bacon fat like I have, that is a wonderful thing to cook them in. And of course, that bacon fat's going to go to the outside of your pan, but you can always swoosh it around, move the pan around so that it gets to them all. And you want a nice big pan, or do it in batches because you don't want to crowd them or they won't brown. When this pan showed up in my house, I took one look at it and said, oh, that's way too big. Now I'm glad we have it because it works for so many things. It is much larger than your average frying pan. But sometimes you just need a big one. Please don't message me, or please don't comment about that. Yeah. That did not sound as what I intended. So we're just going to fry our meatballs and keep turning them so that they get browned on all sides. Once they're cooked, we're going to set them aside. They will go into the tomato sauce once our tomato sauce is ready, and add some flavor to that as well. And the tomato sauce will add flavor to them. And then some lovely spaghetti noodles. Now that we have our meatballs cooked and ready to go, it's time to start our tomato sauce. We'll put these aside for now, because they're not going to go in till the end. Now, it is January when I'm filming this, so a lot of people won't have fresh herbs available. I do. I just happen to live in a place where we do have a long growing season, mild winters, and oftentimes my herbs are good all year round. So I do have some fresh rosemary. You can use dried if you want, or leave it out if you don't like it. I have, well, 3 large cloves of garlic, minced, 1/4 of a large yellow onion, chopped small, not fine, but yeah, you want to have some chunks in there. And I have like 2 brown mushrooms sliced. And then I'm going to use some strained tomatoes. You can use canned tomatoes, tomato sauce, whatever you prefer. But for this, because we're going to do it quick, fresh tomatoes would take too long. We have our onions and mushrooms, and looking lovely. So we're going to throw in our garlic and rosemary. The one thing, if you're doing a vegetarian tomato sauce, like something without meat, you usually want to put some sugar in it, because surprisingly meat adds a lot of sugar. But since we are cooking this with the fat that cooked our meatballs, and we are going to put our meatballs in later, we shouldn't need any sugar. But you always want to check for seasoning, for salt and sugar. Once we get all this, oh, lovely and fragrant, which it doesn't take long, like that's just 20 to 30 seconds and it's wonderful. We're going to put in our tomato. I have a jar of strained tomatoes, and we're going to just put some water in that. So half a jar water added to that. Mix that together. We'll bring it to a simmer. We will need to add some salt, probably some pepper. We'll just have to wait and see. We gotta get it up to a simmer first before we start putting things in it. And in the meantime, we are going to make a salad to go with our dinner. As I always say, taste your food before you serve it. Our tomato sauce isn't quite ready yet, but let's give it a taste. It is very, very sharp, so we are going to have to add some sugar. You don't want to go too overboard, so I'm going to do, actually for the sharpness on this and the amount we've got there, about a tablespoon, I think. I'm going to turn this down, it is bubbling quite rapidly. So let's get another taste here. Better. Still sharp, but it still needs to cook a bit. And I think we do want some more sugar, or we do want some more salt in there. Another teaspoon of salt. Another spoon. Have a little taste here. Yeah, we're almost perfect now. You do want to retain a hint of the sharpness from the tomatoes. You just don't want it so acidic that people get upset by it. And we are going to be adding some Parmesan cheese at the table, so that will mellow it a little further. Let's get that. Let me try again here. I think we might want a little more sugar. No, I think we're good. And our pasta is almost ready here. Let me check it. Yeah, a couple more minutes there. So we're ready to add our meatballs. All those meatballs that we made earlier now go into the sauce. And that will reheat them, and it will add some flavor to the sauce, flavor to the meatballs. It will be absolutely glorious. Yes, spaghetti and meatballs. So iconic, so yummy, and everyone loves them. The only thing we need to do now is add some cheese. A little Parmesan cheese on top. And of course we do have a wonderful salad to go with them. Just a very simple tomato, cucumber with a couple of black olive, Kalamata olives, and some olive oil and balsamic vinegar and flat leaf parsley. So there is dinner, and I can't wait. Let me just get one of those meatballs. There we go. Mmm. So good. Thank you for watching. Please give it a like. Oh, do please try this recipe. It is so good, so easy. And you can make the meatballs any size you like. I just prefer them little. Then you can spread them around. And I will see you again soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching.